What's up, everyone? This is the Retro Gamer Ranting. How are you guys doing? I'm doing fine, and guess what? It's time for an actual rant. I know. What's going on? I haven't done one of these in forever. Even though there's been a ton of stuff I could have been ranting upon, but for some odd reason I feel like ranting right now, so that's what I'm gonna do. Enjoy some random gameplay footage, probably some Sonic stuff, and particularly some Sonic game development kit project stuff, in particular Green Hill Paradise Act 2, which is a freeware game, which is very proper to the subject I'm talking about right now. I stumbled upon an article today called Sega Does What Nintendo Don't. Sega tells fans keep making the good stuff. Yep, that's right. This is in particularly after Nintendo decided to take down over 500 fan-made games around the time of their whole iPhone 7 event. So yes, Nintendo has been in a fan game, tribute game takedown mode, and it's been kind of like that ever since, well, I guess Mario Maker came out. There was the whole fiasco where they were forcing people to take down fan-made ROM hacks of Mario games. And it's been in the news a lot lately about Nintendo just attacking a bunch of fan-made games. In particular, one that's called another Metroid 2 remake, AM2R, which was a highly anticipated fan game that's been in development for, I think, years. I'm not sure, but it had a takedown apparently, and it went dark and kept working on it, and then it got released, not in full form yet, but almost, not too long ago, and of course Nintendo told them to take it down. There's a couple of Pokemon fan games that were actually really, really good, from what the fans say. I don't know, I'm not a huge Pokemon guy. You name it. And Nintendo just says, no, you can't do it. You can't have fan games. Screw your tribute games. A very recent fan game, not complete, just more of a showcase of what the Sonic game development kit, which uses the Unreal Engine, can do, which is a couple of them. I think you could find it over there in for at Indie Database, so indiedb.com, games Sonic GDK /news/projects1, just for your information. It has a bunch of little projects on there, but Sonic Hill Paradise Act 2, and apparently, according to this article, apparently Game Grumps actually played the game, and on their Twitter or YouTube page, one or the other, Sega, official Sega, actually made a comment about it going, BRB, DMCA time, just kidding, keep making great stuff, Sonic fans. So basically, it was Sega kind of backhanding Nintendo there, going, hey, you know how Nintendo's being a jerk about this? You guys can make some fan games. We're fine with it. Which is interesting, I think. Nintendo's been on this rampage lately, been ticking off fans, and whether, you know, and they had it is their property. They have a legal right to do this, okay? I'm going to get that out of the way now. Now, in my personal opinion, I don't think they should be, but again, it is their legal right too. But, you know, because there's a lot of great fan games. A few years back, I did a top 12 freeware games of Christmas video, and a lot of those games were actually Nintendo-related characters and stuff, Mario stuff. I think there was a couple Mario games. I think there was like a Zelda-like game in there, and I'm probably sure if you go to that video now and click on the links that I left for those games to download, you probably can't find them anymore, because I'm sure Nintendo probably took them down. I have a ton of Mario fan games, and even Metroid and other stuff games on my computer, and they're quite fun. Does that mean I've stopped buying Nintendo games? No. It's kind of ridiculous, and I find it quite hilarious. Well, not even hilarious, I kind of find it ironic that Sega's like, hey, you know, Nintendo's being a jerk right now, but we're not. We love you, which is kind of funny in a way, because there was a big fiasco a while back actually, because a fan made a remake of Streets of Rage, and I want to thank the Cartridge Brothers on Twitter. They reminded me of it, that there was a highly anticipated Streets of Rage game. It was in development for quite a long time. I think I even got to play an earlier version of it. It was really, really good, and Sega put the kibosh on it. Kibosh? Bleh? I don't know, whatever. Can't say words properly. And I wonder if this means they'll let that go back into development. I doubt it. It's been so long. If all of a sudden Sega shot them an email going, hey, you can finish your fan game now. We're not doing anything with that IP. I doubt they're going to do that. But hey, maybe the fan backlash from that all that time ago might have helped them change their mind now. Or maybe they're just taking a new stance. Maybe because of all the bad publicity Nintendo's getting. The thing is, Sega has so much more to lose than Nintendo, you know, and that's what's quite interesting to me. A lot of people sit there going, yeah, Sega's giving it to the man, you know, they're showing they're a much better company than Nintendo. Not necessarily. I mean, I love Sega, okay? The problem is, though, is Nintendo is still in the game system business, okay? And what that boils down to is Sega's just making video games. And right now they're not making much, okay? Nintendo's can churn out a new game every month if they want to. Sega is more strategic with it. A lot of it's been Sonic games, some of them hit, some of them miss, so they have a lot more to lose if they have fan backlash towards something, okay? Nintendo don't care, okay? They just don't care, because they have their own system. They gotta deal with it. Seems like Apple right now, they're doing the whole mobile thing now that's super successful. So back in the day when they started flagging people for copyright claims because you were playing a Mario game on your YouTube channel, or telling people to take down their fan game, they don't care. They really just don't. They don't care about the fan backlash. They don't care about the negative publicity, because guess what? You're gonna buy their games. And you know what? They're wrong, in my opinion. Having a fan game does not mean you're not going to buy the real game. I have tons of Mario fan games that I've downloaded and played. I still buy Mario games, okay? Just like during the whole fiasco where they were cracking down on people who made ROM hacks to Mario games and made their own Mario games and Mario adventures, and level editor, freeware level editors that you could make Mario levels with around the time of Mario Maker. Do you think doing that hurt their sales at all? I don't think so. Maybe maybe them doing that did hurt their sales in the long run, because you might have had a lot of fans who got bitter at the fact that Nintendo was censoring these things, and so they didn't buy Mario Maker, okay? Maybe not, but at the same time, it didn't hurt those sales. Now, I know there's a lot of legal mumbo-jumbo, and if you really want to dive into that more about who's in the right, or what you can legally do, and what's considered a fan game, a tribute game, or whatever, then you could probably go to Game Theory's video, where they did a whole video on it, about a half hour long, I think, and it'll boggle your mind and actually might depress you, because at the end of it all, you might actually be questioning if even games with similar mechanics can be considered legal, or if they're considered copyright infringing. So yeah, I know. So when it comes down to it, yeah, do they have the legal right to give them takedown notices? Yeah, it's their property, okay? You're using their assets technically. Even if you make your own custom sprites, it still looks like Mario, it still looks like Zelda, it still looks like Link, it still looks like Metroid, whatever. It's still their legal property. Is it right? My opinion, this is my opinion, and I know a lot of people will agree, disagree, whatever. I don't think so. I think there's an amount of goodwill that you have to give the fans when it comes to this stuff. Look at Lucasfilm. I don't know if it's changed much since Disney has gotten a hold of it, but back in the day, Lucas embraced fan movies, fan games, fan animations that surrounded not just Star Wars, but Indiana Jones and all those properties that Lucasfilm owned. They even put on yearly contests that put on the best of these fan-made movies and stuff like that, and they encouraged it. You know why? Because guess what? It didn't hurt the sales of Star Wars toys or DVDs or books or movies, even though, it didn't hurt. These people still went to see the prequel series, still went to bought the re-releases of all the original series, whatever. It didn't hurt. These people were still giving money. It's not like, oh, well, I just saw this fan movie about Jedi, so I have no reason to go out and watch The Phantom Menace. No, people still went out and seen it. Didn't hurt. And I'm pretty sure they're still adopting that philosophy since Disney took over. I hope so. I haven't at least heard anything saying that they've been making people take down their fan movies and stuff like that. Who knows? It is Disney. They're a little more protective of their properties, but when it comes to Star Wars, if it's a traditional thing, maybe they'll be. I don't know. But that didn't hurt. And I think maybe Sega sees that and goes, you know, we're finally getting in the good graces of fans again. We did that thing on Steam with all our Sega classics. Fans can make workshop items for it and mods for it and cheats for it and all that stuff. I think Sega's finally realizing the best way to stay relevant, the best way to stay in your fans' good graces is to, guess what? Not tick them off. And yeah, they still have yet to make the next big Sonic game after Sonic Boom, but fans are still at least understanding that they're learning. They've learned a lot. They're okay with fan games? Good. Let's hope it stays that way. And maybe, just maybe, they'll embrace it. Maybe they might even bring some of this into the fold. The whole Sonic game development kit thing using the Unreal Engine. Maybe if they were smart, maybe hold a contest. Maybe Sega should hold a contest saying, hey, make a really cool level with the Sonic development kit, and we'll hold a contest. People can vote on it, and if you win, then you get something. You know, whatever. You know, maybe. Will Nintendo do that? Do you think Nintendo should do that? It would be nice, but Nintendo doesn't need to in their mind. So how do you fix this? You know, and I think that just sort of spreads ill will, and it's been doing it for a while, and I think I'm a fan of Nintendo. I love Nintendo. I have a love-hate relationship with Nintendo, okay? I feel like the only way that we can really get them back on the fan side, which in their mind, they feel that their fan base is so strong that they don't need to listen to us anymore. And it's been that way for a while. The only way you can really fix that, and again, I've said this a million times, wallet, okay? I mean, you can tweet them, email them, whatever, and say, hey, I haven't been happy with how you've been treating your fans, therefore I'm not buying the new Mario, I'm not buying the new Pokemon, but that's just it. They got such an international fan base, I don't even think that's going to matter at this point. What's a work around this? Well, a recent fan game called No Mario Sky, which is a mix between Mario and No Man's Sky, that, again, got took down. The developer of that, you know, is like a 24-hour game creation or something like that. He was smart about it. He had alternate assets in the background. He had alternate sprites and everything, so he could re-upload it with new sprites that weren't Mario or Goombas or stuff like that, so it's still out there. So, yeah, I know there's a lot of indie game developers making these fan games that don't have that kind of talent for sprite work or other stuff, so it makes it kind of hard. That's why they do a fan game in the first place. They can use someone else's assets. Again, how legal is that? Maybe the best thing to do is just shoot for a tribute game. Make Samus into a lizard instead of a girl in a mech suit or whatever. Mech suit. Wow, I'm going to get heck for that. You go with the whole Freedom Planet. Look at Freedom Planet. Good example. A lot of people said Freedom Planet, that indie game that is sold, by the way, is the Sonic game we never had. It's basically a tribute to Sonic the Hedgehog. And by the way, the fact that Sega didn't get on their case over just how many mechanics they kind of borrowed from the Sonic series in a whole on that game is something in itself. But that game was basically a Sonic game. That game could have been published by Sega, and probably Sega should get those guys under contract or something, because that was a really great game, great sprite work, and you could tell, yeah, they were thinking about Sonic with that entire game. But that was more of a tribute game. It had everything was original. The sprite work, the characters, yeah, it had very similar mechanics. So, I don't know. Is that the way it's going to be? Instead of fan games, it's got to be tribute games now? Well, at least when it comes to Nintendo. Will they ever change their mind? Maybe. Maybe if the old guard retires and some new guard come in and decide to try and rebuild the fan base. Maybe if sales do start to plummet. But again, reaching into new outlets. They're doing the mobile game stuff now, so they're getting new audience. It's going to be hard to convince Nintendo to do otherwise because they don't have any reason to, unless if their stock falls, unless if people decide, hey, we don't like how you're treating your fan base, whatever. Is it wrong that they're taking down these fan games? Legally, it's not, but at the same time, it kind of hurts. It kind of stings. And that's just another thing, you know, Nintendo, I just don't think understands the internet, because even when they take down these games, there's still ways of finding them. People will just re-upload them someplace else. So it's like no matter, so they're just constantly going to be doing takedown notices. It's just inconvenient for them after a while, I would think. So if people really, really, really want these games, they're going to find them. People are resilient when it comes to the internet, people. Nintendo. So in the long run, is it worth their time? I don't know. Maybe. But at the same time, if people really want these fan games, they're going to find them. They're going to continue to make them, at least until Nintendo completely ticks off their fan base to the point where they're like, well, screw it, we're just not going to do it anymore, which is what they're hoping for, I guess. So kudos to Sega for standing up and saying, hey, you know, we're going to allow it, even though they have a little bit more to lose. Hey, and by the way, Sega, if you're listening, which you're probably not, that Streets of Rage game, let it come back. Get those guys on the horn and say, hey, do that for us. Or if anything, do something with that property. Streets of Rage needs to come back. It was one of the best. It was just one of the best beat-em-ups ever. You have so many properties. You need to start using them again. Bring back Rise Star. That was great. So kudos to Sega. Hopefully they keep down this path. Hopefully they continue to make their fans happy. Nintendo, I don't know what they're going to do. They're not going to listen. They haven't for years now. You think they're going to start now. So maybe a changing of the guard or people talking with their wallets. Maybe that'll do it. So what do you guys think about it? Do you think Nintendo is in the wrong? Do you think it's hurting them in the long run? Maybe this is hurting their sales. Did you decide not to buy Mario Maker or the new or play the new Pokemon game because Nintendo's not being as friendly to their fan base? Or do you just not care? Be like, well, it's in their legal right, so I'm still going to go buy Mario. Because, you know, I guess the freeware fan-made game audiences, it's kind of its own niche in the internet world, so maybe it's not as big as I think. Who knows? And what do you think about Sega saying that? You know, you think Sega's being truthful about this, or just trying to stick it to Nintendo to try and get some good vibes, I suppose? Or you think they're going to stick with this, and maybe the more Sega fan games come out, they'll embrace it more? That'd be kind of cool. So just leave your comments down below, and as always, if you did enjoy this rant, hopefully I'll get some more out there. Share it with your friends, family, rate, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. As when you do, it puts a big smile on my face and lets me know I'm doing my job, which is hopefully entertaining you. Until next time, game fans, keep playing, and thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye.